The PS1 released in 1994 in Japan, 1995 in other regions. There's been several titles published by Sony. Sony has made a lot of games over the past years, and the PS1 era, even into the PS2 era, was some of the best times for that company. They had a lot of games that came out during this era, like Gran Turismo, Ape Escape, Legend of Dragoon. There's definitely games like that, really strong titles for the system. I've got 10 games to go over in this video that were developed or published by Sony, and really just the ones that I think are the strongest candidates to choose if you're going to go to the PS1 of stuff made by them. With it being a list and sometimes subjective, I know there will be a game that you probably are looking for that's not on this list. Just know this is my list personally. Doesn't mean the game is not good, it just wasn't one that I chose. So if you don't see the game Jersey Devil on here since it was published by Sony, well, there's a good reason for that. Without further ado, sit back, relax, get you a cold drink, kick your feet up, and let's talk about Must Play Sony Games on the original PlayStation. Kicking off this list is a no-brainer kind of game for the system if you're ever going to touch the PlayStation, and that is Ape Escape. Ape Escape is summed up in one word of this console. It is fun. It is just a really fun 3D platformer here. You have to have the DualShock controller to play this game, so a digital controller won't work. But you use the left stick to move, and your right stick is actually how you use your weapons and gadgets. You run around with all these things, catching a bunch of monkeys, and it's just very addicting. Sony definitely wasn't messing around with this game. They got the right people in the right hands to design this one. Ape Escape has a second and third game on the PlayStation 2, and truly, if you've played the first game but haven't played those, I highly encourage it. It's pretty much just more of the same, but you got a little bit more to it. If you want to play this game with easy access, you can actually get it on the store on PS5. It's like $10 or so. If you've played Super Mario 64, Banjo, Crash, or Spyro, and you've not played this one, you've got to put this on your list. It is a must-play from this era.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Another no-brainer on the system, Gran Turismo, the real driving simulator as they call it. And yeah, I mean, at the time, it definitely felt that way. For anyone who doesn't know, Gran Turismo was a huge deal when it came out back in 1998 here in the States and as well as PAL regions. It was just a very good game and very awesome game visually at the time. It's got some pretty cool cars that you can choose from. It's got really good tracks. You could jump right in, do some racing, or you can do career mode. The second game is also a very good candidate too. Really, you just can't go wrong with either. I just picked the first one because, honestly, I'm more familiar with this one than I am the second one. My dad played it all the time growing up. The annoying thing about this game and the second game is they are not available on the PS5 store. There's probably some licensing issues going on with the cars and stuff, if I had to imagine. But thankfully, this game is about $10 to $20 now, which is kind of high for what it used to be. It used to be like a $5 or less game all day long. If you're looking for a retro racing game that was from this era, you definitely can't go wrong with Gran Turismo. If you lived in a neighborhood and you had a lot of friends around you, then you probably played Twisted Metal at some point in your childhood. Twisted Metal was just an awesome game the first time I played it. My neighbor, he was a few years older than me, he had this game with a clown's face on it. I'm like, ooh, what is this? And Twisted Metal 2 was the game he popped in, and I remember just having all those different kinds of cars and all that stuff, just shooting everybody around. It was just so much fun. You've got a lot of different characters in this game with their own vehicles. They're all totally different and just have style to them. It's really cool. You literally just gotta avoid getting shot at and just blow everyone up. That's your objective in this game. Truly, for 1996, this was kind of groundbreaking. The first one is also very good, but I've always liked the second one. This one just kind of nailed it with terms of the campaign and just everything else. It's just kind of polished more here. There's a lot of Twisted Metal games on the PS1, but if you're going to check one out, I highly encourage checking the second one out. It might be the best one of the bunch, but really the whole series is good. The Legend of Dragoon. I had to put this one on the list because people absolutely love this game, and from what I've played, it's a pretty damn good one. It joins the club of stuff like Final Fantasy VII using pre-rendered backgrounds and everything. The 3D models are a nice touch, but overall the story is good as well as the gameplay. It's your classic turn-based combat that's going on here, except it's got a button time system where you have to hit the certain buttons whenever you're doing an attack. Nice little touches like that. You've got a pretty cool world to explore as well, and this game is 4 discs, by the way. Man, there's a lot of FMV and stuff like that, so whenever that happens with these games, you expect to have a lot of discs involved. This one is available on the PS5 store, so if you want to play this game, you don't want to buy a PS1 or a PS2 in the game, then that's a good way to play this one. This is definitely one of those RPGs from this era that's kind of a bucket list game, so if you see this game on a deal or if it catches your interest, definitely check it out.
Yes! Double flash! Yes! Double flash!
Medievil was also a staple during this era on this console, because it was just such a cool game with a gothic fantasy, kind of like Nightmare Before Christmas, but fun action-adventure gameplay. You play as good old Sir Daniel Fortescue, and he's this goofy skeleton guy who he tries to talk, but all he does is mumble. The gameplay completely, though, is an action-adventure game with some hack-and-slash elements. The gameplay is pretty good, but I'd say the best part of this game is definitely the atmosphere and the world you explore. All the levels feel completely different. You've got graveyards, you got mausoleums, you have pools of dead souls. I mean, there's just a lot here going on in this game, with a fantastic soundtrack to back up all of that gameplay. This game has a remake, as a lot of people know, that came out in 2019. That's a good way to check out the game if you want to get into it. But if you want to see what the original has to offer, I do prefer this one in terms of gameplay. It just kind of feels more ominous with the graphics being on PS1. I don't know, just something about it. Medievil is a fun game and a good reason to check out the PS1. C12 Final Resistance, another game made by Sony of Europe, the same guys who did Medievil. C12 was kind of a sleeper hit here. Came out in the late life cycle of the PS1, 2001 in PAL regions, 2002 in North America. This game really shows that Sony of Europe mastered the console and how it works, because this game looks really good, it sounds good, and it controls phenomenally with the DualShock controls. It's like almost there with PS2 graphics. It's so close, but it's still a PS1 game. This game is a third-person shooter game with some action-adventure going on too. And you'll have a laser gun, and you've got like this blade too that you can use to slash at enemies, and the gunplay is pretty good. This game has a lot of puzzle solving stuff going on too. A bunch of aliens from space are trying to take over your planet, and you, Riley Vaughn, have got to stop them all and just blast your way through. The affordability of this game is not too bad. It's like 10 to 15 bucks or so depending where you live, and it's gone up a tad over time since about a couple years ago, but it's still easy to find and easy to get. One of the most underrated games on the console, and it was brought to us by Sony. If you haven't checked this one out, you need to. Parappa the Rapper. This is a game I remember playing as a kid and loving the way it looked, but I kept failing the first level. This is a game that kind of kicked off the rhythm game genre, and a lot of people know what Parappa the Rapper is these days. It's definitely gained a cult following. You basically just press the buttons that are on screen, listening to the silly rap music they have in this game. But seriously, this game has really good art direction, and for 1996 in Japan, this is really impressive for the way it looks and sounds. On the surface, as a game, there's not really a whole lot here. here. You're just pressing buttons along with the music that it tells you, but that's not what you play this game for. You play it for everything. You play it for the vibe this game gets. You play it really just to kind of have some fun. I mean, that's all this game is. It's just good old fun. At the time, there just wasn't a game like this one. This game has been remastered for PS4, and I truly think that's the best way to play it, because if you're going to play this game originally, you're probably better off with the original hardware on a CRT television, but now it's expensive. I've had some input lag issues from playing other ways, at least from my experience. If you've seen this one before but never played it, definitely give it a look out. It's a unique game.
Can get far. Step on the gas. Step on the gas. Step on the brakes. Step on the brakes. Now step on the gas. Step on the gas. When I say boom, 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 you say bam, bam, bam. No pause in between. Come on, let's jam. Step on the gas. Step on the brakes.
Syphon Filter 2. I never played these games when I was younger, but since last year, I made a whole video on all 3 games. Syphon Filter 2 is definitely the best one of the bunch. It takes what was good about the first game and just amps it up a little bit more. You've got a little bit more control with your movement, it's more polished, and the missions are just more varied in this game. I really like the ones in this one, how you play as Gabe as well as Leon as partner. This was a good old 989 Studios game here, but at the end of the day, they're just Sony of America is all. If you like games like C12 or Metal Gear Solid, you'll definitely be right at home with this game. You get some stealth in it, some good third-person shooting with some FPS from time to time. It's just a very classic action thriller type of game. This one is very cheap though. You can get this around $10 all day long, Black Label or Greatest Hits, and you can get this game on the PS5 store. So this game is very accessible for everybody. There are some outdated mechanics with these games, but they do have some fun to them. So if you do like these types of games, you got to check out the Syphon Filter series.
Get him!
One of Sony's first releases when the PS1 first came out back in '95 in the States was Jumping Flash. Jumping Flash was a very unique kind of game. It's kind of what 3D platformers were going to be, but this one was in first-person view. Jumping Flash is just a very fun, fast-paced, arcade-style platform video game. The big hook of this game, well, is the platforming, which it nails very well. You jump all around these different places, and you gotta make these big jumps, and you can jump about 2 to 3 times in the air. There's a really good rhythm with this game when you're playing it. Not to mention, you get to shoot lasers at other enemies, and pick up other special weapons too. This game just screams the beginning of the 5th generation to me. I mean, it's just such a good game, and it's very unique. Not to mention, it's a first-party title. If you happen to miss out on this one because of Crash, Spyro, Ape Escape, or something, and haven't played this, you definitely gotta check out the Jumping Flash games. There's a couple games on the console, and they're both very fun. There's great games like Nintendo's Star Fox and Sega's Panzer Dragoon, but Sony had their own game, Omega Boost. I've reviewed this game on the channel a while ago, and this game is amazing. It is truly a really good rail shooter. It looks fantastic, it shows what the PS1 has to offer, good lighting effects and visuals, as well as good music, not to mention very innovative gameplay with being a rail shooter. The gameplay is very straightforward. You just go around shooting stuff, watching things blow up. How it's handled is awesome though, so when you play this game, you can actually free roam if you want to around the area where you're at, or you can hold the R1 button and you can lock on in place, which makes it a lot easier to hit targets. It's just a crisp video game, and it feels so good when you're launching those lasers and blowing things up, and the levels themselves, being a very short game, like an hour and a half to 2 hours, the levels are so fun to play. And they have good boss fights, and truly just a good game. Sadly, this game has not reached the PS5 store yet, so it's still only on the PS1, but if you haven't played this game, it's a freaking must play on the console. Definitely give it a check out.
Be careful.
And there you have it. Those are 10 good games made by Sony that came out on the PS1 that you need to check out at some point in your life. There's definitely more that could have landed on this list, and I definitely want to hear about your thoughts and opinions on what you think is a good game that made by Sony on the PS1. Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear. I like doing these theme videos like Konami, Capcom, and Sony. There's other companies too, like Activision, Psygnosis, and Namco. If you want to see more stuff like this, definitely leave a comment down below. I might even talk about it someday in the future. Until next time, y'all take it easy.